Welcome back. Today's video is called Why Do I Struggle in Meditation, in Life or on My Spiritual Path? And I would say this video is not for the faint-hearted, more the sincere spiritual seeker. And if you feel it too long, please feel free to divide it into 2 sittings. These are questions I am asked as a yoga and meditation teacher and are common problems for us all. It has taken me over 2 decades of meditation and spiritual study to realize what I share with you today. And I will be referring to the great sacred Indian texts because no one can possibly speak of yoga and meditation without reference and reverence to them and India its birthplace. Let's begin with a verse from the best known of all Indian scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. In this instance, from a translation by Eknath Eshwaran. Verse 2.40. On this path, effort never goes to waste, and there is no failure. Even a little effort toward spiritual awareness will protect you from the greatest fear. In meditation, you are communing with God, speaking in the language of your heart. We are taught never to speak as a beggar, but as his divine child, because he is our divine Father. You are capable beyond your thinking, analytical mind. Paramahansa Yogananda said, you realize that all along there was something tremendous within you and you did not know it. So always remember you are a divine child. Divinity is innate within you. Let's now address some questions that get up into our headspace. How to develop a spiritual life? How to live in this world as a householder, have a business, a family, and so on, whilst developing and progressing spiritually in yoga and meditation, without sitting in seclusion in the Himalayas or renouncing the world, living as a sannyasi through ascetic practices and meditation. Lahiri Mahashaya was a disciple of Mahavatar Babaji and the guru of Swami Sri Yukteswar, Paramahansa Yogananda's guru, a Christ-like teacher with miraculous powers around 1828 to 1895. He was also a family man with business responsibilities. His mission was to make known a yoga suitable for modern man, in which meditation is balanced by right performance of worldly duties. Lahiri Mahashaya was known as a Yogavatar, which means incarnation of yoga, and was the disciple to whom Babaji revealed the ancient, almost lost science of Kriya Yoga, instructing him in turn to initiate spiritual seekers, sincere seekers. Back to the whirling questions. How to carry the high vibration of meditation into our everyday life? How do we integrate fully and participate whilst remaining focused on God? Just as we create any habit, we train the mind so that God is the pole star of all thought, will, and action. Paramahansa Yogananda teaches, I will reason, I will, and I will act, but guide thou my reason, will, and activity to the right path in everything. How to live a predominantly sattvic lifestyle whilst constantly being pulled by the senses, the allure of temptation everywhere. How to not be distracted by our desires in this material world, our desire for God, yet sometimes because of our worldly desires we feel insincere. How do we detach? We feel we are making self-effort, but it's so difficult to escape the power of the mind. We may feel lost, questioning where to go now. What will fulfill me? Consequently, feel spiritually exhausted. At this point in our talk, I would like to let you in on something you may not have considered. Teachers and mentors can only take you as far as they are themselves. And in my decades of rich study, I have experienced greatness and intellectual guidance for which I am truly grateful, and has all got me to this place in my life. Nothing, however, compares to studying and becoming a student of, always a student. Krishna, my teacher in India, said a good teacher will always be a good student. And now a disciple of a true God-realized guru. I have learnt more about the true yoga, proper meditation, Christianity, philosophy, and every profound question I have had of the mysteries of life, death, and what happens after has been answered within the capacity I am able to comprehend. I know this to be a lifetime's work. And I share with you as far as I am able to, more importantly guiding you to develop a regular daily practice of your own, and on to the sacred teachings of my guru for those who genuinely are called to take their practice higher. So, in trying to answer some of these questions, I want to reassure you this isn't complicated and leads to 2 points we can now focus on. The first is dealing with the ego, the part of us that constantly asks and compares, am I enough? Am I conscious enough? Am I kind enough? Am I loving enough? Am I meditating enough? And on, overthinking, worrying, creating anxiety, tension, disharmony. Let's go back and remember where we have come from and where we are going. And for now, simply put, we descend from spirit into the individualized ego self, and our lifetime's work is to ascend back to spirit. Think of yourself as a wave, a wavelet, finding its way back until ready to merge with the great ocean again. In the meantime, learning our lessons in this great school of life. We need our ego to function in this world of duality, also known as the material world, and in yoga, Maya, or illusion, until it is our time to return to oneness. The work, and therefore yoga, and the heart of yoga, meditation, illuminates the way. Through the elegant system of the chakras in our subtle anatomy, we ascend upward into higher fields of consciousness, from the lowest, most gross level of vibratory consciousness to the highest vibration of bliss, moving from the conscious state to superconscious, Christ conscious, ultimately cosmic consciousness. However, we all know what an ego out of balance, inflated or deflated means, and determines how we function in the world. So we need to always employ discernment and master our mind. The second point then, how to master the mind. We know its power, its grip on our reality, its tricks and untruths. To master an untrained mind then will require breaking karmic loops, creating new neural pathways, rewiring of the brain to change the perpetual habit forming patterning of the aged, deeply worn grooves of thinking, neuro-linguistic programming for new patterns of thinking, and to stop our intelligence working against us. Our thoughts determine our actions in every moment of every day. We can make excuses, be lazy, procrastinate. We can be good at that, allowing these tendencies to weaken our will. But we must distinguish between what is always in our control inwardly and what never is outwardly. In the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, Sutra 1.2, it is said that the whole goal of yoga is encompassed here within this one sutra. In the portion on contemplation, it states, Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. The restraint of the modifications of the mind stuff is yoga. The entire science of yoga is based on this. If you can control the rising of the mind into ripples, you will experience yoga, which is union with God. So we are being taught that to have complete mastery of one's mind is to have everything. Being the master of your mind means to be in complete control of yourself, no matter what is going on outside of yourself. A yogi is always centered in oneness, an even-mindedness that no storm of life, however tumultuous, can disturb. Once we have mastered this, everything else falls into place, and it is said this may not happen in one lifetime, but may take many. So we may as well build a good relationship with patience and compassion. A good path to follow is the Ashtanga, eight-limbed path, as outlined by Patanjali, which can be used for guidance on how to live and describes the progressive stages of Raja Yoga to enlightenment, where we ultimately merge with spirit in samadhi. Let us have a brief reminder of the 8 limbs here. Number 1, yama, abstinence, how we behave outwardly in the world. Number 2, niyama, spiritual observances, how we behave inwardly, our discipline. Number 3, asana, posture practice. This used to just relate to a comfortable seat for meditation, but today represents all of the poses in our physical practice. Number 4, pranayama, conscious control of prana, the creative vibration or energy that activates and sustains life in the body. We may know this as breath control. Number 5 is pratyahara, sense withdrawal. Number 6, dharana, concentration. And number 7, dhyana, meditation. Finally, number 8, samadhi, the highest step on the eightfold path of yoga, oneness with the ever-new bliss of spirit. You see the work before meditation is even mentioned, the 7th step out of 8. Of course, we need guidance that leads us inward to our inner guru, our soul, our self with a capital S. That spark of divinity that connects us to spirit, where we are always whole, perfect and complete. By finding our guru, a true God-illumined guru, one who in his attainment of self-mastery has realized his identity with the omnipresent spirit by creating a disciplined sadhana practice, and understanding the importance of this as a priority in our lives, including spiritual study, svadhyaya, of the right kind, we are able to develop and progress on our spiritual path without attachment to any outcome, free from desire for fruits of our labour, rather a necessity in our everyday, just as sleeping, bathing, drinking, eating, brushing our teeth, working. Weave your practice in. Create a daily practice, at least twice a day. Try to aim for the same time, morning and evening. The best time is on rising, before your day stuff begins, and evening. And we do this to our best ability around all our other responsibilities. Anybody who says, I don't have time to meditate, needs to meditate even more. I think it's good to remember that yoga meets you where you are. Keep making the effort until it becomes effortless, just like the asana practice. By making it a part of your schedule, you will help yourself to establish a non-negotiable practice. The Bhagavad Gita teaches us, through its dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, how to live a life of service and be in this world, not of it, but in it. If we act selfishly, we are bound by the results, whether good or bad, affecting our karmic debt. We cannot escape karma by refraining from our duties and responsibilities, but we must act in a selfless spirit, without ego involvement, whilst simultaneously living a spiritual life, absorbed in the Lord and established in Him as our one goal and refuge. Such people who have mastered life with even mind rest in Brahman, the supreme reality underlying all life, the divine ground of existence, who is perfect and is everywhere the same, free from any sense of duality, unaffected by likes and dislikes, free from the bondage of self-will, and attaining supreme peace. It states how judgment is clouded when wisdom is obscured by ignorance, but that ignorance is destroyed by knowledge of the self within. The light of this knowledge shines like the sun, revealing the supreme Brahman. With mind established in Brahman, we are free from delusion. By not being dependent on any external support, the joy of spiritual awareness is realized, with consciousness unified through meditation. Pleasures experienced in the world of the senses have a beginning and an end, and give birth to misery. When we are able to overcome the impulses of our emotions which arise in the body, for example, anger, selfish desire, lust, and so on, we will find our joy, peace, and inner light. These negative qualities are our greatest enemies and are the destructive powers that can compel us to wander away from our purpose, to end up in self-delusion and despair. Those who follow the path of yoga and realize the self, the Atman, are established forever in that supreme state through meditation, by closing the eyes, steadying the breathing, and concentrating the attention on the center of spiritual consciousness. The wise master their senses, mind and intellect. Self-realization is their only goal. Living in a state of freedom and liberation from all suffering, they attain eternal peace. The mind must be made one-pointed through the practice of meditation, with body and mind controlled. Lead it within. Train it to rest in the self. This is the basic technique. In Indian philosophy, the phenomenal world of mind and matter is described as having gunas, 3 basic qualities: sattva, which is goodness, light, purity; rajas, passion, activity, energy; and tamas, darkness, ignorance, inertia. Spiritual evolution progresses from tamas to rajas to sattva, experienced as final liberation, and takes the soul beyond all three gunas. Our true nature, our soul or Atman, is above entanglement in the gunas. They act and react upon one another, but our inner being is not affected. The goal of detachment is to avoid being always caught in the emotional storms of rajas, passion, or tamas, the bind of inertia, which dominate the mind and body in a constant state of flux. In chapter 3, verse 42, it says, "The senses are higher than the body, the mind higher than the senses. Above the mind is the intellect, and above the intellect is the Atman, or soul." And if we keep this image of climbing the mountain of self-realization in mind, that at the beginning of spiritual life, great exertion is required. As the summit is approached, though the climb gets no easier, the dimension of contemplation or stillness is added. It reveals the great dedication and discipline required on our spiritual quest. This deeper yogic philosophy helps to explain with reason our natural yearning to explore and develop our spiritual body. It is our birthright, and only a matter of time when we answer its call. I hope this is only encouraging and allows you to be more compassionate towards your practice yourself. Remember, your spirituality evolves at the rate of your spiritual capacity. In other words, this journey cannot be rushed. Let's recap as we head towards the end for today. This is a lifetime's work and requires true dedication, discipline, faith, devotion, resilience, patience, compassion. Meditation, to be meditation, transcends the human thinking mind. Be mindful what you are thinking. Meditation, to be meditation, has already, as a prerequisite, surpassed pratyahara, interiorization, withdrawal of the five sense perception, and the stage of dharana, concentration. Again, study the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, the 8 limbs of yoga. The true God-realized gurus, the saints and sages that share India's most ancient sacred teachings, teach us, though, meditation must be practiced and not just studied as an academic subject or philosophy. We are urged to not just believe what we study, and only when we experience for ourselves what is truth, then we will know. Really pay close attention to who you are being guided by, what you are studying, as this is crucial to your spiritual evolution in this lifetime, and time is precious. We are living in a time where it is truly an honour to have access to this sacred, timeless wisdom. Know that you are never practicing alone. Quieten your life and listen. Awaken to your true potential. Yoga is a science, and application of the scientific Kriya Yoga techniques is said to be the fastest route to God. This book is a good place to begin. Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda. Meditation is much more scientific than sitting mindfully, trying to keep the body still and comfortable, and trying to calm and quiet a restless monkey mind. I haven't even mentioned the health benefits of meditation yet. The mental and physiological, like the science and research of how meditation reduces blood pressure, slows the heart rate, balancing hormone release in the body, especially reducing cortisol, the stress hormone, bringing a sense of harmony and restoring equilibrium, calming the mind for better mental health, improved sleep, respite from the overstimulated senses, slowing down the chaos of the world and all its frantic activity, coping better with the madness of the world. All of this is a natural consequence of your spiritual work. Keep practicing. Thank you for being here today. Please subscribe to my channel so I can share the wisdom of yoga with you. Each week making new videos as my life allows, in yoga flows, yin yoga, meditation and yogic philosophy. I am also working towards a weekly newsletter and a meditation course in the hopefully near future. Thank you. Namaste.